I'm Ashton Addison from Blockwest Capital for Investment Pitch Media and the Crypto Coin Show. And today on Blockchain Interviews, we have Diego Di Tommaso, co-founder and COO of OVR. Diego, welcome to the show, and thank you for taking the time.
Hi, everybody. Very nice to be here. Thank you for hosting me.
Likewise, I'm interested in learning more about the metaverse and the AR metaverse and how it's expanding and how OVR is playing a part in that. So let's dive straight into that. I'd love to start off our conversation with hearing a little bit more about OVR. What are the solutions that your team is bringing into the metaverse space? And then we'll dive in from there.
Yeah, so thank you very much. So yeah, basically with OVR, what we are building, it's an augmented reality metaverse. So our vision is really to merge the physical and the virtual world together seamlessly. And the way we do that is combining the two technologies that are blockchain for ownership, so for the Web3 layer of the metaverse, and geolocalized augmented reality. So if we look at our platform, it can be seen as made up of three main layers. So we have a base layer that is an ownership layer. So we break down the world in hexagons, like the one that is so behind me. And basically are hexagons of 300 square meters that are mapped one-to-one to the physical world. So these hexagons basically are spatial domains. So just like in the web, you have a web domain, and once you have it, you decide what will be the content on the web page. In our case, you have these geographic coordinates. So for example, you own the hexagon of the Colosseum. Once you own that, you can decide what kind of augmented reality experience will be connected to that location. And with your mobile phone, you will be able to visualize that kind of experience. So far, we sold more than 800,000 of these virtual lands. And all of those are NFTs. At the beginning, they were on Ethereum blockchain. Now we move everything to Polygon, so that basically now you don't need to have any worries about the gas anymore. So this is the base layer, so the ownership layer and the layer that gives control to people on this metaverse. The second layer that we have is a mapping layer. And maybe I will deep dive on that later on, but basically these allow to actually scan locations and get a very precise localization of assets in space. And this for us is a very crucial point of all the infrastructure. Third layer is a builder, so that once you own those lands, you can actually publish content on those. So we have two kinds of coders. You just drag and drop 3D files, or NFTs that you own, 2D, 3D files, GIFs. You can actually take these assets and publish it in space. And also we have a more expressive tool that is a Unity plugin. So if you can code, and I mean, Unity is like half of the market for 3D developers is for Unity. Basically, you can actually code logics and even games on this platform. Mm-hmm. And this is it, I mean, for the platform at a high level. And I think it also is important to mention that when you are in this metaverse, you are never a passive spectator, but you are there with your own avatar. So from a selfie of your face or a picture, we generate a 3D mesh of yourself. And basically you can interact with our avatars with voice. So you can speak with people, you can meet people, you can have a kind of telepresence with your avatar. And also if you have an iPhone, for example, not only they will see your lips moving, but also we trace the facial movements. So also your avatar will have the same expressions that you have stream live. And we believe that also this is very powerful and a good way to onboard people inside the metaverse. I mean, maybe you heard about the concert that there was a Fortnite with 28 million people looking at Travis. And just to give some reference, I mean, at Woodstock, there was 1 million people, or at Coachella, coming back to our days before COVID, 1.3 million people. So the opportunity to bring people together with this kind of events, these virtual events where you participate with avatars is huge. And so that's why also we put a lot of effort in building also this feature on the platform.
Incredible, Diego. Thank you for explaining that all. And there's so much to unravel, as you mentioned, in a short amount of time. The AR Metaverse sounds like the next step from these decentralized metaverses like Decentraland and Sandbox, bringing more functionality and like integration into the real world. I think it is part of the next step. But I'm curious, from your perspective, do you see it as the next step, or is it something different? And how are you going to start onboarding the next 100 million people into this next step of the metaverse?
Well, so first of all, we are big admirers of the Central, and actually the idea of building OVR was born, actually also being inspired by what the Central has been doing. The real differentiation here is in AR versus VR. So we believe that VR will be big, and there are many use cases for VR, but at the same time, we believe that there is a clear technological trend that is bringing us to AR, because at the end of the day, we will not spend all of our lives with some headsets that is totally occlusive, so that basically take us out of the physical world, but we will keep living in the physical world also. So we believe that augmented reality will be the new way we'll actually interact with information. And so we believe that in the next future, also as soon as some affordable augmented reality glasses will be out there, this technology will be very, very pervasive. So the reason why, I mean, we decided to build this company and invest in this specific field is because we see the potential in VR. We believe that is a very big niche. But we believe that really AR will take it all in terms of information fruition. And so I think that right now there is big incumbents in the VR space, in the open metaverses, but in AR, I mean, the space still need to be occupied. And I mean, that's why we are here, actually.
Yes, definitely. And, you know, with what I find super cool is the spatial domains that you spoke about, where you're purchasing square meters of land inside of AR. And you mentioned that there's already 800,000 sales. So that's incredible to hear that there's so much interest already. And I'm guessing that is it the whole world, and like it's a very small percentage that's actually been sold so far? And yeah, that's
yeah. So yeah, basically, if you break down the world in hexagons of 300 square meters, theoretically you have 1.6 trillion hexagons out there. So I mean, the amount that was sold is very small. But of course, not all of the locations in the world are interesting. There are the deserts and the oceans and so on. So our estimation is that there are at least 100 million locations that are interesting in the world, and this comes from OpenStreetMap or Google Maps. And if you look to how many locations are characterized like point of interest, the number is around 100 million. Mm-hmm. So yeah, basically, we believe that 1% of the interesting locations have been sold for the moment. Of course, the landmarks are the ones that have been going first. But yes, to answer to your question also, yes, all the world is on sale. So you can buy your backyard to test it out. You can buy something everywhere, you think. We just reserved 5,000 lands, and that was only for marketing reasons. For example, we reserved the Tour Eiffel, and we sold it with a big ocean back 6 months ago that went out for $108,000. So, but the idea is really that this is a platform to link augmented reality assets to space. So it's not that we are trying to do the cash grab with selling very high prices. I mean, the idea is that we give you a system to connect assets to space. And also because of that, the price of one of those lands is quite cheap, because the base price is $10. So it's not that you have to invest, I don't know, 1 ETH or 0.1 ETH to basically buy one land. Is very accessible. So the real idea that we had at the beginning when we started with this company was actually giving a way to people to publish content in augmented reality very easily, so with no big barriers to entry. And this also helped us a lot with traction, because also the amount of owners of these lands is quite important, because right now we have 28,000 owners, and maybe in the normal world this may sound not so big, but just for comparison, again, if we think about the Central, for example, or also Sandbox that have even more owners, they have 20,000 owners. Of course, the price of their lands is much more higher and so on. But I mean, this strategy really onboarded a very big community on this metaverse. And also, this contributed to have also a lot of creators. We have 12,000 of those lands where content have been published from creators. So this is really working very well so far.
Incredible. And are you Are you incorporating a financial ecosystem where, the land is NFTs, and is there any other kind of DeFi functionality or uses that you can make out of those NFTs to capitalize on them while you own them?
Yeah, so basically, those lands, like as I was mentioning, are the base layer, so this ownership layer. But over this, you can build many things. So, of course, the final thing you're going to build are experiences you can sell, you can monetize, or you can just make it for fun or for art or whatever. But in the middle layer of this, there is this mapping layer that I was mentioning to you. So, basically, what this layer is, we call it map to earn. And why we call it like that? Because basically this is an activity that you can do in our metaverse. So the point is that when you do geolocalized augmented reality like us, or like anybody that want to do something similar, you have a big problem. So the problem is that everybody relies on GPS. And GPS is quite okay for some use cases. Outdoor works with... If you really want to merge the physical and the virtual world, you need to go beyond this. You need to have more precision. So the way to achieve that is to scan locations, so to make maps of locations. So the way you do that is we have a software on our app where you go around the world, you take pictures of locations, and from that you generate a map. And this map, again, is an NFT. And this NFT is very valuable because basically it's a 3D map of a location that allows the system to locate assets in space with 20 centimeters accuracy. So not only you have the geographic coordinates, but you also have the 3D data of the location. And basically this data is valuable because it can be bought by us as OVR, as a company that maybe want to buy those data from the lands, can be bought from the owners of the land that want to have their land maps. So for example, let's say that I bought a land in New York. I will not go there to map it. I will send somebody and we say, look, if you map my land, I will buy your NFT that you generate and basically monetize that. And also, basically, we see this data to be very, very important, not only in OVR, because of course they will be used for precise geolocation, but also for any company that will ever want to have precise geolocalization, because there is no technical way out of that. If you want to have precise localization, you need to first map the locations. And so basically, somebody says that we are trying to do a kind of Google Maps. It's a kind of Google Maps, open Google Maps, so decentralized or Google Maps owned by the people that do the actual job. But instead of collecting just pictures and doing like the 3D bubbles where you look around and that's it, we really recreate the 3D structure of the location. So, and that's the reason why we call it map to earn, because basically it's an activity that you can do in our metaverse to actually earn. So not only play to earn, that actually we also enable with a treasure hunt, for example, but also doing something more probably valuable or something that creates valuable assets that you can own.
Mm-hmm, definitely, and I know that geolocation and mapping is valuable data. So is that map to earn, is that already live on OVR?
So right now it's in alpha version, so we have 400 people that are testing this. But in the next month, we are going to release it in beta version, so basically everybody will be able to use this system. So it's kind of complex because basically from these pictures, we do two things. One, we generate this 3D map that you will need to be able to visualize and actually interact with our builder. And two, we train these neural networks that basically allow for precise geolocation. So, but this is on the back end. On the front end, basically, we have a UX that guides you on where to take the picture. So right now, we are fine-tuning that because basically the raw data that we get is the most important part. So we are making sure that this UX really guides you in the right way to get this data. But I mean, 1 month is out, and we are very excited to see how the whole community will behave. And also, we are very looking forward for that because we have a game right now that is called, it's a treasure hunt, and we call it treasure hunt software as a service because not only us, we use it, but also we onboard many other NFT projects to do that. And in the last year, we sent people to 1.6 million locations to actually collect those assets and earn in this metaverse. So we would like to tell to these players, look, there is another way that you, if you want, you can monetize in the metaverse. So we're really eager to actually give another opportunity to participate in this metaverse and getting something valuable out of that. So yeah, that's we're really looking forward for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's super cool, Diego. Thanks for explaining that. I'm looking forward to seeing how that is gamified. It actually does sound really fun to go mapping and collect rare NFTs. So with all of that said, and you're working on this with the upcoming launch, I want to look at further down the road. You know, I feel like this is a project that is going to take many years to mature, because it will just continue to grow as more people adopt into the metaverse. Where do you see OVR, 3 to 5 years down the road, and how the metaverse industry is evolving and how OVR is evolving with it?
Well, so of course, this is a long period, but I can give you what are the core values that we are going to look for in developing in this coming year. So one is the fact that OVR need to become a DAO. At least, the most important decisions, once the layers, the base layers are settled, need to become, governed by the community that actually owns the assets. So the lands and the maps and the assets that are published over there. So in the next months, we're going to publish a DAO that will allow more and more control on what is happening on OVR. And second, a core idea that we want to develop more and more is the cross-metaverse compatibility. So, I believe that with Web3, we have a great opportunity to basically change the way that people interact, with digital assets. So not anymore captured by big companies, but owned by the community. And this is the base. And so this is enabled by Web3, NFTs, and so on. But that's not all. Basically, to win this war against the incumbents, we need to generate a lot of valuable content. Bill Gates wrote it, in an essay, I think it was 2007, when he said that content is king. And he was right. That time, he saw it very, very far away. So the point is that we need to be able to build a lot of interesting content. But we have a secret weapon also on that. We as industry, as Web3 industry, the secret weapon is that NFTs are open assets. So we can port it between metaverses. And so if assets generated in different platforms can live in other platforms, we will win this battle to actually with the incumbents. So a big goal for us is to make our platform as welcoming as is possible for assets from other platforms. For example, something that will be seen very soon is that basically we allow, for example, to control with the joypad and so on, all the assets that exist on Sandbox, for example, because Sandbox is a great example of NFTs as open assets. All the animations of the 3D assets are available over there. So basically, if you comply to their standard, you can actually onboard the asset that was built there in your metaverse. So also, we are coming out with standards so that if you want to build an asset that by default works on OVR, you know how to do that. Another thing we are working on that direction, for example, is a standard for clothes. So if you want to have a cloth that works on the Sandrun, Sandbox, and also VR, we also give you the standard that you can comply with, so you have an NFT that can actually cross through metaverses. Wow. So these are, some directions that we really want to push towards in the development in the next years. And this is where we see, the future of all metaverses, actually, both AR and AI. Both AR and VR, yeah.
Very cool, Diego. I completely agree. I feel like the metaverse space needs to work together and be able to communicate with each other, most importantly, to transfer assets, and that will just make it grow that much faster. So very exciting that your team is working on that.
Yeah, thank you.
So what is the best way for people to start getting involved with OVR right now in terms of the metaverse and then with the map to earn?
I think that the best way to do that is start downloading the app, trying the experiences, maybe trying to participate to these treasure hunts, play with it, see how it works. And then, of course, if you are more like a builder, some people that is creative and so on, try to engage also with actually our SDK, try to publish content, be to the events, because we are also organizing a lot of virtual concerts with DJs and live, performers that are playing. So really, I think that the best way is starting from the app, and then you will understand what we are building, and if it's something that is interesting for you. Then, you can try all of the other things that we do. So maybe you can buy the land and so on. But I think really the best way to see is to see the product, and so understand what that is probably the best way, better than words, to understand what is our vision and what we are building. And of course, then you can go on our website and please be careful, because there is a lot of scammers out there. So just use the links that are official links, both Telegram. We have a lot of support on Telegram also. We have Discord. So all the channels that are official and come from the website, you can trust those. So please don't go to the wrong ones. But yes, on the website, you will find everything.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Diego. I will leave the official links and the social links in the description box below as well. All the best on everything AR Metaverse, and let's follow up in the near future.
Thank you very much. It's a big pleasure.